This panel is going to focus not only about profitability, but more specifically about sustainability and how both can work together. So to get to the first question that I have for you, I want to focus on the profitability side. You had your earnings out in February. Volume was actually down. So can you just speak to just, how the business is doing and consumer demand right now?
Yeah. Well, first, Kristina, thanks for having us here today, and looking forward to a great discussion. So the business is quite robust. As you know, over the last 24 months or so, we've been facing, significant headwinds from supply chain disruptions, seasoning, just across the board supply chain challenges, and, with significant inflation coming our way. And so if you think about over the last 24 months, we spent a lot of time focusing on making sure that we have a robust brand building, that we continue to invest in transforming the business, and we make sure we're continuing to innovate to have products that consumers want. So volume, we've taken, a significant amount of pricing to offset a lot of the inflation that's come our way. But frankly, the brands are stronger than they've ever been.
Well, speaking of the brands, FritoLay's, would we consider that the potato and butter, if I make the horrible pun or comparison, of your business? Can you just speak to how innovation has helped FritoLay's specifically?
Yeah, so first, let me spend a little bit of time on our business overall. As you know, I have responsibility for PepsiCo Foods North America, which is a combination of the FritoLay business as well as the Quaker business, which makes up basically everything you eat here with PepsiCo in North America. It's a massive business, big supply chain, thus, why I know we're going to talk today about sustainability. We operate in every market in the U.S. We have multiple brands over $1 billion. We've got 70,000 employees across North America, and we have brands like household names like Lay's, Quaker, which is the oldest food trademark in America, 1877. And we're born in agriculture, in the field. So we're potatoes, we're corn. We have a big agricultural footprint. We work closely with our farmers on sustainable farming, regenerative farming. We support many farmers, from really large ones like Rylander in Wisconsin to really small multi-generation farmers like Singleton Farms in Florida. And so it is it's an amazing business. I've had the opportunity to lead this business now for 4 years, and frankly, it's a privilege to have the opportunity to do it.
Stephen, you mentioned farmers. Can you just speak to maybe the difficulty it is with working with farmers and how to get them on board with reducing their water footprint, their emissions footprint? Can you just speak to that relationship, please?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great relationship with our farming partners now, because we don't own the farms. Obviously, we have to bring them along the journey with us. And so if you think about, and I mentioned earlier, our most advanced farmer in Rylander, Wisconsin, the Wisconsin, Heartland Farms in Wisconsin, they probably lead in regenerative farming. And so, they've been partners with FritoLay and PepsiCo since before FritoLay was actually FritoLay, right? They were partners with Lay. So 5th generation farmer, and they've been doing agricultural excellence for a very, very long time. And then you have smaller farmers, and frankly, whether it's cover crops, whether it's irrigation, how you grow sustainably, it does cost money. And so making sure that we bring these farmers along and educate them on the best way, drip irrigation, a lot of the things that are going to save a lot of water over time, is basically what we spend our time and energy against. The last thing I'll say about farming, we have a very, very advanced agro-science program that works hand in hand with farmers, because we grow potatoes. I'll use them as an example. We grow in Florida, we grow in Wisconsin, we grow on the West Coast, so different climates, different varietals, different levels of water scarcity. So it takes different tactics depending on where you're farming.
Does that put your business maybe at risk because you're relying on a third party, the third party being farmers and their best practices to make sure that they follow through with your sustainability goals? So are you concerned about, liabilities, any risk factors in the future or even now?
No, not really. Again, we have great partnerships with our farming community, and we have a very strong farming program. And so we work hand in hand with them. It's not that we want to do it and they don't. It's just making sure that the practices that we put in place are robust and they're manageable. And that's it. I don't feel like there's any risk. I feel like there's great partnership, and we'll continue to develop these partnerships over time.
I want to speak about your packaging, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a goal for 2025 to make your packaging biodegradable as well as recyclable, right? And compostable as well. So could you just speak to, what initiatives have changed in order to achieve that goal in the next 2 years?
Yeah. Well, the goal is actually 2030. The goal is to design packaging and have a plan to have packaging in the marketplace by 2030. And we've done a lot to that end. I mean, we are working with a lot of different third-party companies. The technology is still nascent, right? Okay. And so if you talk about full biodegradable packaging, there's good technology in compostability, and we have several products that are in compostable packages today. One of the examples would be what we call off the Eden path. We call it affectionately OTEP. But it's in a fully compostable, industrial compostable bag. We also have, we just recently launched rigid packaging. So if you think about a canister that's fully recyclable today, it's almost fully recyclable. Next year, it'll be fully recyclable after we replace the bottom of the package. And so there are a lot of tactics. Multi-pack, 2 years ago, if you think about our multi-pack packages, that's our 1 ounce size in multi-pack servings. Those packages were in another outer plastic. So we moved that from plastic into cardboard and recyclable cardboard. And so if you think about that move alone, removed something like 12 million tons of plastic out of the environment. So there are a lot of packaging tactics that we're using to get at that goal. And frankly, and when you and I talked before, these things are hard. They're not easy. What I would tell you is we're fully committed to it, and that there isn't a world where any individual company, any individual manufacturer, it's going to take the community of technology developers, other partnerships, other manufacturers in our space to make sure that we bring to bear the best technology and the best solutions toward these goals.
Stephen, we just talked about the packaging. So what about what goes into the products? I think I read a headline, or I know I read a headline very recently just about using chickpeas. So could you just talk to maybe how the use of beans will be used in the sustainability equation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're thinking about all types of diverse ingredients. And as you know, I mean, in snacking, right, and in food also, people like taste, but they also want to make sure that they're doing things that are more positive choices, if you will. And so if you think about, I mentioned OTEP, off the Eden path, it is 100% chickpea, veggie, and rice. If you think about, we have brands that you may not have heard of, like a Hilo, it's a chickpea puff, right? Oh. And so we're starting to use those ingredients and to try to bring to bear great innovation, highly incremental to our business, and it gives us many positive choices for consumers.
Stephen, I want to end on this this last question just about your role, your leadership role just over the last 4 years and how you're incorporating sustainability. Have you encountered difficulties with incorporating within your goals and convincing investors and everyone to get on board and spend the money to create these sustainable packages, change towards beans? Can you just list some of the difficulties, please?
Well, I mean, the difficulties are, for the most part, in the area of technology advancements, right? And so if you think about what we have done at Modesto, I mean, I would say it's our North Star manufacturing. We've got over 30 manufacturing sites across the U.S. They're large-scale operations. And our Modesto site, we've been able to bring all those technologies together. You know, the fleet is either electrified or natural gas. All of our U.S. operations now are fueled by renewable energies. But Modesto is the North Star. We have done everything from solar panels to electrified fleet. The entire facility is being fueled by renewable energy. It is fantastic. Now, I'll tell you, the partnership between government, non-governmental organizations, and technology companies together with us is what has made that possible. In some places, the hardest thing is frankly, not having those partnerships in place across the country to do what we need to do, and the technology being more nascent than it needs to be to really do this at scale.